Hello friends, this video on mechanical properties of solid part 5 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Please make sure that you have watched all the videos from part 1 to part 4 before going ahead with part 5. Stress strain curve. As the name, what do you think it would be? As the name suggests, a curve which is drawn between stress and strain. Right? Let us look at it. So we have taken stress along y-axis and strain along x-axis. This is a very general stress strain curve which is seen for most of the materials. For most of the materials, like in the previous slide you saw that we had drawn a stress strain curve where the line was perfectly linear. So that was an ideal situation of Hooke's law. So that is how it should happen ideally. But when you actually do experiments with substances which are either elastic or plastic and try to draw the stress strain curve, most of the times you get a curve something of this sort. I mean, here we have taken a curve of this sort and we will explain you what does this curve signify. What does each of the portions of the curve signify, so that if you want to find out the characteristics of some other material, you can just experimentally find out the data and then draw stress strain curve, and viewing that stress strain curve you can tell about the characteristics of that particular material. So here I will just explain you what does this is a very general curve, a general stress strain curve we have taken to just to explain you what does it represent. Now if you look at the curve, you see that it starts from the origin, that is O. Okay, now let me name this curve so that I can divide this entire curve into small parts and then explain you each of the parts. So if you see it very carefully, from this point O till this point A, it is a straight line. From A to B, it is not a straight line, it is a slight curve but it is increasing. Slight curve but increasing. So let me name it B. Now if you see from B to this point, it is a curve again but it is a decreasing curve. So let us say this point is C. Now from C, if you see, from C till this point, it is again, it's kind of a straight line from C to this point. Let us say this point is D. And then if you see from D till this end point, it is again a decreasing curve. Now these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of curves which we see in the single graph. So now I will explain you what does O to OA signify, what does AB, BC, CD and DE respectively signify. Now let us start with OA. From point O to A, the straight line signifies that the Hooke's law is obeyed. If you see in the previous slide, this is how the Hooke's law curve was. You forget about the rest of the curve. You just concentrate on O to A. It is a straight line which shows that stress and strain are directly proportional to each other. The Hooke's law is obeyed. That means the material behaves like an elastic body. So in this region O to A, the material behaves like elastic body. So what about A to B? If you see A to B, stress not proportional to strain, right? If you see here, it was something like the stress was directly proportional to strain. As stress increases, strain will also increase equally. But here it is not like that. If you see, it is a non-uniform curve, right? That means the way stress increases is not dependent on how strain is increasing. So it is not directly proportional. However, the body still comes back to its original form when the force is removed. That means here also it is not that the body is perfectly elastic, but still it exhibits the elastic properties. That means even in this region, if the body is in this region, if you deform the body, if you change its shape, it will come back to its original shape after the force is removed. So this region from O to A was perfectly elastic, where Hooke's law is perfectly obeyed. From A to B, they are not directly proportional to each other, but however, they exhibit certain elastic properties. Now, this point B, This point B is known as the yield point or elastic limit. We were talking about elastic limit in the statement of Hooke's law. So this is elastic limit. This is also known as yield point. Now, what is elastic limit means? This is the point till which the substance will remain elastic. It will have elastic behavior. So, if you see from O to A, it is perfectly elastic. From A to B, however, not perfectly elastic, but still it exhibits elastic properties. So, B is the elastic limit, or sometimes it is also known as yield point. And the stress corresponding to this point B is known as the elastic stress. So what is the stress corresponding to point B? If you join it, so the value of stress corresponding to point B is this. Let us denote it by sigma y. So this is your yield strength. So this stress is known as yield strength. Let me write it here. This sigma y is known as yield strength. That means the value of stress corresponding to the elastic limit is known as yield strength. That means this is the maximum value of stress till which the substance is elastic. Okay. Now let us move to the next part. Now if you see from point B to point D, what happens? We see that strain increases rapidly for small stress. That means from B to D, if you see that strain is increasing, but the increase in stress is more. It is increasing more rapidly. That is stress, the way stress is, if you see the stress has increased from this point B to point D. That means only this much. There is only this much increase in stress. If you see, this distance is the increase in stress. But what is the increase in strain? If you see, the increase in strain is from this point till this point, which is more than that of stress, right? So definitely this increase is more than this increase. So we say that from point B to D, the strain increases rapidly even for a small change in stress. That means if the stress is increased slightly, the increase in strain is more. So in this case, what happens? Even if the load is removed at any point between B and D, the body doesn't regain its original dimension. That means, see, what happens? Try to understand this very nicely. Suppose if you give a small stress, and the strain produced was more. Strain produced was more means the deformation in the body is more. Right? Strain is nothing but a measure of deformation. That is, you slightly pushed a ball and the ball changed its shape, or the ball changed its shape very enormously. I mean there was a big change in its shape, right? So in that situation, what happens? If you remove that force which you had applied, in that case also the ball does not comes back into its original shape, because it had undergone a major change. The change which had taken place is more. So in this case, what happens? The body does not regain its original shape or original dimension even after the force is removed. So in this case, even if stress is equal to 0, strain is not equal to 0. That means, let us suppose you stretched some material, you stretched some rod which is not elastic, right? You stretched it, you left it, you removed the force. That particular rod did not come back to its original shape. That means even when the stress is 0, because when there is no external force applied, there will be no stress produced. So even though the stress was 0 in this case, but the strain is not 0, because the body has already changed its shape. That means there is a deformation. Whenever there is a deformation, there is a strain. So even though the stress is 0, the strain is not 0. So this area signifies that even if stress is 0, that doesn't mean that strain will be 0. Stress can be 0. That means you are not applying any force. but even then there is a strain which is produced in the body. So in this case we say that the material is said to be in permanent set. I mean, in this region, in B to D, we say that the material has undergone plastic deformation. So in this region we say that the material has undergone plastic deformation. So this D to D is plastic deformation. Plastic deformation for this one. Now let us look at the position from D to E. What happens from D to E? In D to E, what happens is additional strain is produced even with reduced stress. If you see it carefully, here the stress is decreasing. The stress decreased from D to E. That means this much it decreased. So the decrease in stress caused an increase in strain, but the strain increased from here to here. That means even though the stress decreased, the strain even then increased. Right. So what is this point D called? This point D is known as the ultimate tensile strength. This is called ultimate. This point D corresponds to, like what I had told before, the point corresponding to the yield point is the yield strength. The point corresponding to this point D. This is D, right? So let us say sigma U. So this sigma U is ultimate tensile strength. It is ultimate tensile strength. So this is the ultimate tensile strength. That means after this the body starts breaking down, because if you see after this the strain keeps increasing even when you decrease the stress, right? So beyond D, additional strain is produced even with reduced stress. So finally what happens after this? Finally at point E, fracture occurs. So at point E, finally there will be fracture. What do you mean by fracture occurs? Fracture occurs means that the body breaks down. So now I hope you got an understanding of how you will get this curve. Let us understand it once again. If you see from O to A, it just obeys Hooke's law. It is perfectly elastic. From A to B, stress is not directly proportional to strain. However, the body still exhibits some elastic properties. So till point B, the body is within elastic limit. So point B is known as the elastic limit or yield point, and the corresponding value of stress is called yield strength. Now from point B to point D, we observe that the value of stress, even for a small change in stress, the strain increases. That is, the increase in strain is more when compared to the increase in stress. So in this scenario, what happens if the body is deformed, even after the force is removed, it does not come back to its original shape. So this region is the region of plastic deformation. So for point D, there is a corresponding stress which is known as the ultimate tensile strength. That means this is the ultimate strength that the body can bear. After point D, the strain keeps increasing even with decreased stress. That means even with decreased force, it keeps increasing. And finally at point E, which is known as fracture. That is, at point E, finally fracture occurs. Right? So this is how we explain the stress strain curve. Now the significance of stress strain curve is that by seeing the stress strain curve, you can depict the characteristics of a material. Like let us suppose if you have an elastic material. So for an elastic material, this elastic region will be more and the plastic region would be small. Similarly, if you have a plastic material, so for a plastic material, the elastic region will be very small, whereas the plastic region would be wide.
Thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.